important for London?
Sure. London Technology Week is really a collective of events that are taking place across the capital and to celebrate technology here in London. And you have all sorts of events from companies opening up their doors and welcoming people to talk about specific technologies, to curated panels where you have a mix of small companies as well as big companies talking about what is the next wave in tech, what are the issues and challenges that are facing tech today and in the future.
Okay, and what are some of these issues that are facing tech, and specifically in London?
In London, I mean, just anywhere. I think one of the things that there's a lot of talk about, which is access to talent and access to skills. This government is doing a lot in ensuring that the pipeline is as full as possible, from exceptional tech talent visas that we're endorsing as part of Tech Cities initiative, to ensuring that coding is in schools, so that we are building a generation of analytical thinkers and not just programmers, and that's very important. So skills. Another thing is obviously capital, but we've seen in the last some of the figures that we've seen a lot of capital come into the city over the last year or so. So that is getting addressed, but we're well on our way to becoming a real digital innovator in this space. And to that point, today we see the launch of our Internet of Things grant fund that was announced by the Prime Minister in March at CBIT. And today we announced it, and we're doing a call out to applicants to receive anything between 50K and 150K of funding to help them get their idea off the ground or accelerate their idea or business to the next stage of development. And we're doing that with Seed Camp, we're doing that with Unilever, John Lewis, and Redgate, and also EE.
Okay. Seed funding is something that London's already done very well. It's in its infancy, the tech scene, but it's burgeoning. The problem seems to be with venture capital funding, and we're still lagging behind the US in terms of per capita venture capital. One fintech startup I was talking to at Level 39, an event you're at, said that some London startups are having to sell their souls to the US. How is the issue of venture capital funding and getting them, is it possible to go all the way?
I think, look, as I mentioned before, we're well on our way, right? So you've seen Index raise 550 million. It got announced last week. Bolton has just raised $300 million fund only a month or so ago. I mean, we're well on our way, and we've seen a real inflection point in funding. So I think all these issues are being addressed, and the point to make is that we're well on our way to address these issues and accelerate the development of capital investment in the UK and also London.
Okay, but do you see it as a problem currently, or?
I think, yes, well, I would say that it's getting better all the time. And so, I think initiatives like the one we're launching today always helps. But we're being very specific in the sense that it's targeted at Internet of Things, and also making sure that the London tech scene is also combining forces with the Cambridge tech scene. This is not just about London, but also the whole of the UK. And so if it's all about encouraging other tech cities or tech clusters around the UK to combine forces and actually develop new competencies and new expertise. If you think about it, Cambridge is very strong in hardware, London's very strong in software. If you combine the two together, you're creating a hub and a critical mass of expertise in Internet of Things. So that's the mentality. That's where we're sort of ensuring that funding is going at from our point of view. And you look at the figures from Index Ventures. 4 of their $1 billion companies in the last year alone were European, 2 of which are UK based, I believe. So we're well on our way, and I'm seeing that change getting faster all the time.
Okay, and other areas, you mentioned Cambridge, are there other areas in the UK you're looking to connect?
Absolutely. So there's Manchester, very strong in media, Newcastle, very strong in gaming, Edinburgh and Southampton are very strong in artificial intelligence, Cardiff is very strong in price comparison sites. So it is spreading, and what I'm trying to encourage is how do we make these cities with critical mass of expertise work more closely together, so we increase that connectedness so that we are positioning the UK as a digital powerhouse on the forefront of innovation for the future.
So it's not just London competing against Silicon Valley, it's the UK. Is that what you mean?
Not at all. Not at all. It's this is London Tech Week. This is about raising the profile of the great stuff that's happening in London. But I'm very keen to look at how we make sure that we're also positioning the whole of the UK as a digital powerhouse at the forefront of a digital innovation, and that means connecting with other